So friends, welcome. Today it's going to be an unusual video. I'll tell you about all the ways to make money with crypto that I've tried over the past 5 years. I'll tell you how it is, honestly, without embellishment, where I earned it, where I lost it. I'll really share everything I know about making money with crypto, and not just where to invest money, but also where you need to actually work, creating some additional value in this market. Without further ado, let's get straight to the point. The first block will be everything related to finance, investments, trading, and so on. The first big area, where it's easiest to earn money, and where I've managed to make some, is investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Moreover, the important point is that I single out investments in Bitcoin and Ethereum as a separate sub-niche, because these are the simplest, most risk-free investments. This advice to buy Bitcoin and forget it works. Bitcoin and Ethereum are profitable. It really works. And I will say honestly, looking ahead, that investments in Bitcoin and Ethereum are what brought in the most money from a financial point of view. So this is where I've managed to lock in the most profit so far, and where there's still a lot of unrealized profit. Investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum is simple, and doesn't require deep knowledge. The best approach is DCA, dollar cost average. I believe that this takes away a lot of headaches like doing research, analysis of projects, and so on. The most effective strategy is DCA, which stands for dollar cost average. You take a certain amount that you're ready to invest. For example, $100 a week or $1,000 a month. And just consistently, no matter what the price of Bitcoin is, just buy. This strategy is the first one. It's the simplest, the most effective, and in my opinion, it suits absolutely anyone. Even if you experience a dip, visit DCA.com to see what would have happened if you had been buying Bitcoin. You can go and see what would have happened if you had been buying Bitcoin over the last 3 years, even starting from $60,000, to see how it would look now with your savings. And the second strategy that I usually use is to buy during dips. I made my best purchase in late 2022 when Bitcoin was 16K and Ethereum was 2100. It didn't make sense to jump into DCA as I had a good entry. After the market rose, I bought more during the pullback, proportional to my portfolio. There's no universal recipe like take this much money, but after the market gave a push, I picked up more during the pullback, proportionally to my portfolio. Again, there won't be any universal recipe like take this much money, take that much money. No. To invest in crypto, I recommend starting with Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is the simplest, safest tool. And if you don't make any stupid mistakes, it's hard to lose money with it. Hard. Unlike the second method we'll discuss, investing in altcoins. It's really hard. Unlike the second method, which we will be discussing, specifically investing in altcoins. What are altcoins? It's everything that's not Bitcoin or Ethereum. So these are all sorts of Starknets, Solanas, Aptoses, Suis, Doges, and other various meme coins and so on. When it comes to investing in altcoins right now, I can honestly say that I consider myself to be at a loss. Why? Because if you compare, my portfolio is down. If I had invested $10,000 in Bitcoin a year ago when it was under $30,000, I would now have $20,000. But if you look at it relative to Bitcoin, like if I had taken $10,000 and bought Bitcoin with it, let's say a year ago when it was under $30,000, I would now have $20,000. Do the same with the alts. It's a super diversified portfolio. On average, $10,000 will turn into about $6,000 to $7,000. This is especially true if you have a good portfolio of solid projects and some diversification. So the police officers decided to stop and have a chat. Let's have a little chat. Sure. Are you going to do that? At 5 in the morning, I don't think drunk people are still driving. They drive at night. They always do. Around the clock. Day and night. Have a good day. Goodbye. So our fascinating conversation has come to an end. Look, regarding altcoins, on average $10,000, as I said. Or if you invested a year ago, they probably turned into $6,000 to $7,000. That's in the best case. If you picked up a bunch of junk, it could have turned into, let's say, $1,000. And many altcoins have indeed experienced very significant drops since last year. So in dollars, the situation is not very pleasant, meaning there's been a drop. But with Bitcoin, you probably lost about 70%, right? Compared to what it was a year ago. What do I want to say? Altcoins carry much more risk and much more profit. Why am I not realizing losses in altcoins right now, not selling them and not buying Bitcoin? Because in altcoins, there's this thing called market cycles, right? And when we have a bull cycle, first Bitcoin gets pumped, then Ethereum, and after that, liquidity starts flowing into altcoins. I have a separate video on the channel. I think it's called When I Start Buying Altcoins. I'll leave you a link in the suggestions. Check it out to understand what alt season is and when I'm roughly expecting it. The mode for investing in altcoins. Altcoins require a much deeper dive. And they demand, most importantly, an awareness of the risks. So when you invest in what we call alts, you need to realize that it's much easier to lose your money there. Yes, and here you need to understand that it's psychologically tougher. So for me, for example, since I haven't just been in the market for a year, or even the second or third year, I can calmly look at the chart and see, I don't know, like an 80% drop in my position, as I do have some altcoins like that, and just go on with my own business. I'm not going to sell them, panic, and so on. And I probably won't even average down on them. If it's not already built into my strategy, I probably won't even average down. I'm just going to wait for the right market moment, when they either really crash to zero from the scam, or when they give some kind of conditional gains. Once again, when you invest in altcoins, just remember these risks. Once again, at the moment, I'm either at break even or experiencing a slight loss in dollars. When we consider it against the dollar, and if we look at it relative to Bitcoin, then there's a normal loss of about 50–60%. So compared to the main market driver, Bitcoin, my altcoins haven't even come close to catching up, even though my portfolio is actually put together quite reasonably and is diversified. I've shared the principles of building my portfolio. I allocate 2 to 3% of my deposit per project, with 15 to 20 projects total. So think 10 times about investing in altcoins before buying anything. It's better to start with Bitcoin or Ethereum. And we also have a separate video on the channel about how to pick altcoins, so I recommend you check that out. The next financial story is trading futures. An even more interesting tool than altcoins. For those who don't know what a futures contract is, we have a separate video on the channel. I'll be providing some helpful links in the suggestions here, just so we don't dig too deep in this particular video. What's the point? You take leverage on your position, multiplying your position by 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, maybe even 100 times if you're really feeling adventurous. Your trading starts when you need to guess the price movement up or down using technical analysis, smart money, or whatever else is out there. Everyone does it their own way. But the essence of it comes down to the following. Can you make money with futures trading? You can make money with futures trading. And the main problem with futures trading isn't that you can't make money, but that it really takes a toll on your emotions. So if you start trading, I'll share a bit about my own experience. One day you have a plus of several tens of thousands of dollars, and the next day you have a minus of several tens of thousands of dollars. And when you go through all these emotions, at first it's kind of fun. You know, when you start trading, it's all exciting and amusing. When this happens over time, you start to think, do I really want to experience these emotions right now? Or would it be easier for me to go do some business or work on projects where the results are much more stable, calm, and predictable? But again, you have to understand that this is just a trait of my psyche. I don't like sitting every day, gambling, waiting to see if today will be a win or a loss. You're still trying to make money, talk about it, jump in, and then lose it. And in trading, the same thing usually happens. And usually people blame the market maker, the whaler, or something else for this. I think it's something else. The thing is that people, in principle, find it very difficult to get into these areas of finance and investment. And trading and futures, it's just, damn, turn off the lights. I write a lot about this topic, notes, audio, videos, and so on my Telegram channel. If you haven't subscribed to the Telegram channel yet, while you're watching this video, make sure to go over and subscribe. There's a lot of useful information about cryptocurrency there, plus we'll be in touch a bit more often. So to sum up about futures, who is this story suitable for, and what conclusions have I drawn for myself? This story is suitable for people with a very stable psyche. So for people who, first of all, are ready to spend time learning all of this, and secondly, for those who have some capital, because you need to understand realistically that if you just gamble and don't follow risk management, then you really have no options at all. But even if you follow risk management, for example, if you trade well and have your own strategy, you still have to be ready for the fact that your emotions will get the best of you. Should I try futures trading? I think so, yes. So if a person, I don't know, a close friend of mine came and asked me whether they should try to learn how to trade futures. Absolutely, yes. The only thing I would say is, if you have a small deposit, I don't know, let's say you have $100,000, or maybe $10,000. Well, take $1,000 and try trading futures with that. Moreover, learn to follow risk management, but still trade with $1,000, or maybe even with $500. Why? Because trading shows your true self. They expose your negative traits. In other words, they will truly reveal all your most negative qualities. You'll understand how your emotions work, how your psyche operates, and what's really going on in your head. Because when you live an ordinary life, you don't encounter situations like that. Everyone thinks their psyche is very stable, right? I know everything better than anyone, I can do everything better than anyone, I can beat everyone, and so on. When you find yourself in a real market situation, a completely different story starts to unfold there. And many people think that it's hard to set stop losses and so on. No, actually, the most frequent losses in my experience happen when you're on a winning streak. This is called tilt. It's a state when you get into such an emotional high. You go into a tilt, right? and you start doing all sorts of stupid things that you really shouldn't be doing. Check out the video about risk management on the channel. Check out the video about futures on the channel. I'll leave the links in the suggestions. Whether to try or not is up to a person to choose. I definitely think you should give it a try. At the very least, it's a really good workout for your emotions. It's a great tool to help you understand once again what you're really made of. Emotions. At the very least, it's a really good tool to help you understand once again what you're really made of. All right, let's wrap up with futures. Let's move on to the next investments in early stage projects. IDO, so-called, used to be ICO. I have nothing positive to say about them. I've tried different approaches, invested through funds, and invested on my own. Hi! There's this one person out there on Telegram, YouTube. You might have even seen him, Dimash Shukin, sending a warm hello. In 2021, he was actually raising funds. Well, I threw about $10,000 into various projects. In the end, everything scammed out by 90%, just to give you a heads up. What's the point of investing in early stage projects and how do they attract people? Let's take one case. For example, a coin called 3x launched, an Asian tridivore, and it gave, let's say, 100x returns. And against this backdrop, a young man or a group of people on a Telegram channel or YouTube say, dude, IDO is the new thing. It's going to be the new Bitcoin. We need to invest in it right away. It's the killer of Ethereum, Solana, and all that stuff. People, trusting citizens, like I was too, bring their money, hoping that the next investment will be as successful as the last one. The new Bitcoin killer, the replacement for Ethereum, and all that jazz. But how does it actually work when they show you a case that made 100x? They forget to tell you that for that 100x case to happen, there are about 100 or maybe even several hundred projects that have flopped. This is what's called the survivor's bias. So they show you what survived, but they don't show you what died. And I just happened to get in right at the end of the bull cycle. Well, it's clear that this was a few years ago. I haven't seen such smart videos on YouTube yet. No one explained to me how to act. I had to try everything, based on my own experience to see what it was like. So that's how it turned out. And accordingly, here's the point. Investing in early stage projects, if you're not a real insider, chances are you're not a real insider, believe me. If you found a Telegram channel with insider info, or, by the way, it's a pretty common story now, somebody you haven't talked to in, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, messages you saying, dude, there's a new thing, a crypto project, I don't know, 20% annual returns, 100% every day, you're gonna be a millionaire, let's invest a few $1,000s and tomorrow I'll cash in on it. Right. And if you hear something like that, know that they just want to stupidly, don't fall for this story. I've tried to arrange these financial activities, so to speak, in the order of their recommended use. Yes, let's go over it one more time. First, the safest, the dumbest, the most reliable. Bitcoin, buy it, 510. Second, investing in altcoins. It's dangerous. You can almost lose your entire deposit, but if you're ready to take risks, if you're willing to study all these projects, dig through this crap, and see what has a chance of success, then the next step is trading futures. I don't recommend investing large amounts, but I do suggest trying it out to understand how your mind works. This is really a very cool simulator. The fourth investment is in early stage projects. I don't recommend it. A very negative experience. Just because, well, it's a story to get you invited to invest in some really good project. So, a potential new killer of Ethereum, right? You shouldn't just be an ordinary investor. You need to be some kind of large fund that can provide connections, marketing, and maybe even contribute to the development teams, or their networking, and so on. Right now, the situation in the market is that there are no problems with money. Understand this key point, really, that many people don't get, especially those who aren't familiar with investments and finance. There are no problems with money in the market at all. So, there is just an infinite amount of money in the world, in the market. The problem is really about finding worthwhile projects. And when worthwhile projects, like truly worthwhile projects, reach out to you, they're probably not as valuable as they want to seem. So, we finished with the finances. Let's move on to the second block. That's everything related to activities and you could say work at CRYPTOR. So what's the difference here? We had to invest money to earn. Time is needed for learning and studying. Mainly, earning requires money. In activities, money is rarely needed. But mainly, to earn there, a certain amount of money is required. In activities, money as such is hardly needed at all. Sometimes it's needed, but in small enough amounts. And here you can really earn money with just $100. You can easily turn that into, well, a few $1,000s and so on. What activities are we talking about here? First, these are drops, and drops in all their forms. There are so-called short-term drops and long-term retrodrops. How do they differ? Short-term drops are when you find a project that needs to create activity on social media, make more reposts, circulate money in its exchanges, and so on. Usually there are some websites where quests and tasks are given out, and for completing these tasks, you get paid in crypto. Here, the earnings are modest. You can earn $20, $30, or $50 from a single task. But again, modest compared to what is it really about sitting down, pressing a couple of buttons, and grabbing $50? Basically, I think it's pretty good. In our closed channel, there's a specific person named Nikita who manages the thread about these drops. Yes, and there are many cases when you invest $3 to $4, $5 in commission in order to spin some drop, and you get $50, $70 in the end. This is a risk-free story. As projects show their workings, websites guide you to earn coins. While there are nuances, I'm not an expert on drops. For crypto beginners, this is a great path. No large investment needed. You'll study projects, learn analysis, understand backers, and work with wallets and networks. Overall, many advantages. So, you don't need to invest a large amount of money. You'll immediately study a lot of projects, learn to do minimal fundamental analysis, understand who is behind the projects, grasp how the project works, and learn to work with wallets, networks, and so on. In general, there are really a lot of advantages. At the same time, you don't need to invest much money. Just a small amount, like $20, $30, $50 for fees, is more than enough. Moreover, you can accumulate a lot of drops with that money and earn your first sweet dollars in crypto. That's regarding short-term drops. There are also retro drops, so to speak. That is, these are long-term drops. All sorts of layers here, Starknets and other lovers of shaving people who dreamed of earning $1 million on drops. If you're a newbie in crypto, you probably don't get this subtle humor, but there were some funny situations where many people wanted to become millionaires from these retro drops. What is the essence of retro drops? A project comes out. Let's take Layer 0 or Starknet as an example. The essence is pretty much the same everywhere. When a project launches, like Layer 0, they set up their network, blockchain, exchanges, and apps before releasing their token. The community hopes that by trading, staking, and using DeFi tools now, they might later receive Layer 0 token. This can happen, but not always. And the community assumes that if we start trading, staking some coins, and using DeFi tools in their networks now, then later on, they will reward us with Layer 0 tokens. This is indeed the case sometimes, but not always. And there are no guarantees here, like in the first case when we discussed short-term drops, where the projects themselves give you tasks to complete in order to earn money. A retro drop is, well, first of all, in my opinion, getting into retro drops in 2024 is just nonsense. It's just a completely burned out topic. Many people are now creating courses, selling software, and other things related to this. But in my opinion, when the hype is over, and the hype around drops was quite something, let me share a little story with you. In 2023, there was the Arbitrum drop, the biggest one that attracted a lot of people to the market. Here's the story. Arbitrum launched, and people who made just a couple of transactions were given around $2,000 per account. It was the same with Aptos. So you go into the Aptos network, and Aptos, I think many people know about it. You mint an NFT, do a couple of transactions, and you also get a few $1,000 just like that. After that, everyone was like, now all the projects that are coming out will give us drops, we'll become millionaires, and we'll go to Dubai for Lambos and all that stuff. As you can understand, only those who went to Dubai were the ones chasing Lambos, although they probably had already been there. It was only the people who originally worked on these projects that went. Those who were into retro drops usually ended up getting jobs. Those who were involved in helicopter operations as a rule went to work. That's it. Because you need to dive into the topic. Understand this. The trick is to get into a topic before it's known. Once courses, software, and channels emerge, it's too late. I was too late with ADO. Earlier entry might have led to success, but my late entry meant no profit. That's how it was for me with ADO. I came to the market too late because if I had come earlier, maybe I would have made something out of it. But since I came late, my chances of making any money there were 0, right? So at that time, I didn't understand it. Now I have a bit more understanding of how these processes work. It's obvious, by the way, super obvious, that in this new bull market, we're going to have some new hype topics. I don't know yet what it's going to be. Before, it was IDOs, NFTs, then there were drops. But one way or another, new hypes will emerge. So far, I don't see them and can't share any super insights with you. But again, if you have any such thoughts, then be sure to share them with you in the Telegram channel. Go there, subscribe. I'm wrapping up on the topic of retro drops. I believe that in 2024, getting into retro drops, building account farms, hiring people, and developing your own software is a ridiculous idea. You won't make any money there. At least I have friends who really got into this topic, hiring teams of 20 to 30 people, developing software. Everyone either lost money or got out without any losses. But what does without losses even mean? You have expenses for the team, you have fees, If you have a problem, I mean, you could have spent that time doing something else, but instead, you were wasting your time on some useless stuff. Right. I believe that if you can't influence the outcome from the start, and here you really can't influence the outcome because you don't know how the team will distribute the tokens, then there's no point in getting involved in drops. Newbies get into short-term drops. If you're already like an old-timer there, then don't get involved in this nonsense. Just that it's a pointless story. It's better to just get involved in working on crypto projects. This is the third type of activity. There are permanent jobs, there are temporary jobs, and there are so-called ambassador programs. You're just looking for some cool crypto project. They usually always have job openings on their website. And I believe that this is one of the best ways to start your journey with crypto. You can get a job in a crypto exchange doing some tech support. They always have open positions. You can work as a manager at an exchange, as a technical specialist, or as a designer. I just don't know what you all are doing, but the point is, if you're a good specialist in your field, think about going to work in crypto projects. Honestly, I haven't worked in it myself, but I have a lot of acquaintances who have, and the feedback is quite positive. First of all, crypto is really a trendy, youthful, and dynamic place. You'll meet interesting people and understand how the market works from the inside. And overall, I believe once again that this is one of the best ways to start getting to know crypto. Guys, we have about 30 minutes of video right now. Let me know in the comments what you think about this format of videos. I'm really curious to hear your feedback. I'm trying something new for myself. I'm curious if this resonates with you or not. Also, feel free to share your experiences with making money in crypto in the comments. What worked for you and what didn't. I'll be waiting for you in the comments. The third section is about developing your own projects in crypto. I can share my experience here and talk about the experiences of my colleagues in the field. Regarding my experience, as you know, I'm developing a media project, the one you're currently watching. It's called CRYPTOR. How is a media project monetized? Oh, and what does it all include? As a rule, media projects in crypto are various content, sometimes useful, sometimes less useful, on YouTube, Telegram, Twitter. Some do it on Twitch and so on. Someone was doing it on Twitch and so on. So how do you earn on a media platform and its development? You actually have a lot of ways to monetize. But how do you gather some media platform from the dirtiest sources and then scam your audience by selling them some token? But here again, the question arises as to how, okay, you will be able to live with this later. That is, I, for example, am such a person. I sincerely do not want to scam or deceive anyone. I don't know, make empty promises and so on. I think that staying honest, first and foremost with yourself, is one of the most important things in life. I'm not ready to take unnecessary risks or put myself in bad situations, just to earn a few extra dollars. So about the media project, let's say we've gathered an audience around us, right? We created some interesting content, we provided value to people, and we built a community around us. What can we do? Well, aside from scams, of course, we can sell advertising. As you know, I don't sell advertising on my channel, and the reason is very simple. I don't want to deal with every advertiser, figuring out who's a scammer, who isn't, who offers crappy services, and who actually provides something good. If I'm using something, I'll share it for free, but I don't want to give ads. If I'm using something, I'll share it for free, but I don't want to give ads. Plus, there's the thing that every time you give an ad, you have to coordinate something with the advertiser, like contracts and obligations. Do the ad like this and do the ad like that. Well, how would I communicate with people who do this? I honestly don't even want to deal with that. I prefer the second option more, partnerships with exchanges. As you know, I'm a partner of the exchanges ByBit and OKX. By the way, if you don't have an account yet, go ahead and register. It's completely free for you. Plus, you get bonuses, various discounts on fees, and cashback. How does this whole thing work? There are exchanges, right? Who do exchanges need? Exchanges need clients. Moreover, exchanges need clients who know how to use the exchanges and don't just blow their deposits. Exchanges need clients who trade regularly and do it for the long term. That's why exchanges attract opinion leaders to promote their product as an exchange. It works like this. You bring a person to the exchange and receive a percentage of the commissions that the person pays for the exchange. Moreover, the person who comes to the exchange doesn't pay higher fees. There are no hidden charges or burdens. They benefit because exchanges often give bonuses when you register. Through partners, you get more bonuses and perks. Partners also provide goodies for their clients. You choose who to work with, and exchanges don't require deep agreements. You're on your own. Partnerships are a clear option, especially for developing media projects in crypto. It's simple, and you can earn comfortably without stress. Here you just initially choose some guys to work with, and exchanges really don't care what you're doing. They don't require you to have any deep agreements or anything like that. You're pretty much on your own. So, in my opinion, Partnerships are a super clear option if you're involved in developing media projects in the crypto space. I would even say it's relatively simple, at least to some extent, where you can earn quite comfortably without any unnecessary stress. The third point is how to monetize your influence in the information space. This is, of course, the sale of educational products. It's a very fine line, I tell you folks. It's a very fine line simply because we have a problem in society where people approach the concept of an info product inadequately. People are waiting. Now I'll adjust the diaphragm. People expect that an info product is a magic pill, that you go through training, after which your life changes completely, and you become a superhuman. But in reality, with info products, just like everywhere else, I believe that the adequacy of both the speaker and the audience is very important. But in reality, with info products, just like everywhere else, I believe that the adequacy of both the speaker and the audience is very important. What's my approach? I believe that you can and should sell info products if you have enough experience and expertise, and you understand what value you're providing to people with these info products. And that's exactly how I approach it. If we are talking about selling information products, then it is very important, in my opinion, not to give people inflated promises. Don't say things like, you'll jump into my course and make $1 million without any hassle, become a billionaire and outpace Elon Musk. So basically, don't get involved in any nonsense, you know? So I can specifically say this. So we have a private channel. So I've gathered all my experience there, right? There are my deals, and there's training from me. There is training from invited speakers. These are all very cool people whom I know personally, whom I have checked, whose expertise I am confident in, and so on. I understand that if someone pays us a small fee, they receive a lot of practical, useful material. If they study it, they won't waste their money. If they apply it correctly. And if he studies it, at the very least, which is already very important, he won't waste his money. And if he does everything right and uses a bit of his brain power, then he'll make money. And I understand, can this person do it on their own? Let me be honest with you, maybe. But on his own, this journey will take him roughly a year, or maybe even longer, 2 to 3 years, depending on how much time he spends and what effort he puts in, and so on. With me, this journey will likely take him a couple of months. Yeah, or maybe even less. So when we talk about whether to buy info products or not to buy info products, everyone will decide for themselves. So, back to the topic of monetization. Yes, once again, it's advertising, it's partnerships, it's the info business. Scamming is still prosecuted under the criminal code. So if you have media in crypto and you're thinking about scamming someone, well, if my talks about being sorry don't resonate with you, please consider that you could really face consequences for that. The next way to earn money in crypto is by creating your own project. There are different types of projects. You can create your own exchange, you can create a wallet, some kind of, I don't know, a game, a service, launch a mom coin, and so on. What's the main problem here? The main problem here is that most likely, you won't be able to make money from this. And the only model for your earnings will be selling the tokens of your project to the market. And what does that mean? This means that you will be doing marketing and selling tokens on the regular market. And as soon as the bear market starts, your token will crash by 90%, and essentially, you'll be scamming people. I didn't dive into exotic topics. You can profit from those with the right resources. I focused on conveying the basics, which I find most essential. You can also make money from this if you have certain resources, including the media resources that we discussed. But I think I've tried to convey all the essentials to you. And I hope that after this video, you will, first of all, no longer fall for various scams. And secondly, choose an interesting direction in crypto for yourself and make this field your main activity. Because in my opinion, this is truly one of the most promising areas that exist right now. One of the most profitable fields. Because in my opinion, this is truly one of the most promising fields that exist right now, overall. One of the most profitable fields. And one of the most, in my opinion, simply interesting topics for a young, ambitious person who is ready to work, earn, and express themselves, and so on. Write it down. Your opinion about this video in the comments. I hope I can release it, and that the sound won't be messed up. See you soon.